This topic is very, very, very touchy for a lot of people. Good morning, guys. I'm starting out in a fantastic mood because the milk stain that I thought ruined this pajama shirt like weeks and weeks and weeks ago is gone. Like, I have put this in the wash obviously every single time I wash my clothes, which is like every 3 days, and it's always there, it's always there, it's always there. And then all of a sudden today, well, oh, that's interesting. I mean, you can like kind of see it, but like it's getting better. I was so sad because in the beginning of postpartum, if you choose to breastfeed, like, milk is just everywhere. Like, now it's not like that at all. Like, there's zero leakage, it's all good. But when your body's like trying to find its supply, and it's just a mess. And we still have piles and piles of snow outside from that huge snowstorm Cincinnati got. It's insane, and it's gonna take forever for all of this to melt because it's freezing outside. So we are definite homebodies this week, that is for sure. And I'm also feeling good because nothing is better than when I can wake up just 15 minutes before Decker, pump him a bottle. Like, it just makes me feel like I have my life together. So right now, like, literally this is what I do, which, by the way, like, let me be clear, we were up 4 times throughout the night last night. This is not like him sleeping in, like, he's sleeping in because we were all up all night. But Asher and I literally just wait for him to wake up. Decker, you should teach a class to all of the other babies on how to get out of nap time every single day, and how to avoid it, and how to avoid ever sleeping in your crib. But that just means more time with mommy, right? More time with mommy. More time with mommy. More. Where the fish hang out lives a gloomy swimmer with an ever-present pal. It's a lot later. My friend Ray just left. She is seriously one of my last friends left in the TV news industry because I feel like all of my friends left. Like, it's crazy that I no longer know most of the people at the TV news stations, or even any TV news station, period. Like, a lot of my friends are just in different industries now, but Ray's remaining strong. She's a photographer at one of the local stations, and against all odds, it is continuing to snow. It just started back up again. Zach actually had a work from home day because of the snow. I feel like the camera does a bad job picking it up, but yeah, you can kind of see it. It's insane that we are just continuing to get snow this early in the year. But honestly, I don't hate it because you know what that means. If there's snow on the ground, there's gonna be something in my oven. It's just, you have to bake if it's snowing.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the water, or maybe we just hit the end of the road. Right now it doesn't even matter.
This is gonna sound really pathetic, but I actually feel like a giant weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and it's all because my house is clean right now. We have been letting things not get awful, but like, literally, okay, since having a dog and a baby, our house gets so much more messy in just the blink of an eye. Like, I'm not even doing anything, and like, suddenly there's just hair everywhere, there's dirt, there's dust. It's just not the best. But we just had a cleaner come over. She just left. Shout out to Stephanie with Hellloooo. She always does such a good job. I think this is like her 3rd or 4th time coming. If you are in the Cincinnati area, by the way, and you want to give Hellloooo a try, I cannot recommend Stephanie enough. She actually has a dog named Asher. But you guys know I love Hellloooo. I am getting to work with them on this video. I am so passionate about taking just that one thing off your plate, if you can, of cleaning your house. It's just so much. It's one of those things that I honestly kind of felt guilty about at first, but not anymore. First of all, the results, I can't do what they do. I think Stephanie has like, I think 29 years of experience cleaning homes. She just does such a good job that I physically cannot. And not only that, it allows me to be productive in other areas. Like, as she's cleaning, I'm with Decker, who, by the way, I have an audience of 1. Actually, I have an audience of 2 right now. Asher's over there as well. And I just think it is so worth it. And what's really cool about Hellloooo is everything is online. You get to book your cleaner, you get to see their reviews, you see a picture, you see a bio. All cleaners pass a rigorous certification process and a background check, and they have to maintain a 4.8 rating or above. And with Hellloooo, you could either do like a special occasion cleaning, say you have a party coming up,
or you just want to deep clean your house, or you can do it on a regular basis, which in turn will save you money. So for their Forever Clean membership, I think it's $49 a month, but then you're saving $30 an hour on every single cleaning. So obviously the membership is paying for itself. And one of my goals for this year is to just like maintain a super cozy, comforting environment. Obviously, as a new mom, I am home quite a bit. We do plan on leaving the house, guys. Don't worry. Like, we do leave the house sometimes. But right now, for example, in Cincinnati, let me pull this up. Well, it's not even as cold as it had been, but 27 degrees, like that's still pretty freaking cold. So needless to say, we do spend a lot of time here and I want it to be like a nice, clean, cozy environment. And Hellloooo really does help with that. So if you guys want to give it a try, I'm going to have a QR code on the screen that you can scan. Also a link below, hellloooo.com/Clancy. You'll get your first 3 hours of cleaning for just $19. And then after that, I believe it'll lock you into a Forever Clean membership of like 6 months. And it's just, oh my gosh. I did it before. Obviously I had Decker. I did it even before I had Asher, to be honest, but especially with the two of them, it is just like really nice to take this one thing off my plate and have the professionals come in and do what they do best.
This is always such an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment in and of itself, but it's really an accomplishment with a baby meal prepping, because if I have just like one thing on the stove and he gets fussy, not a big deal. If I have 4 things I'm juggling, very hard, but we did it. We made it work. I do the sweet potato and broccoli I meal prep. We've got chicken for the week. And then this is what the finished product looks like with the Nourish bowl. We've got chicken, sweet potato, broccoli, like I just said, spinach, tomatoes, and there's some avocado under there as well. And it is so freaking good. 10 out of 10.
Good morning. It is 3. Just nursed Decker for about like 15 minutes. I know I talked about dropping my middle of the night pump because who wants to wake up in the middle of the night? But I'm just so scared of losing my supply. Like, one sec, Ash. I'm so tired. In this middle of the night pumping session, like really allows me to have wiggle room. I feel like, especially with pumping, you basically need an oversupply. Like, there are times Decker doesn't finish his bottle. And for those of you who don't know, like, babies only have a certain amount of time to finish their bottle before you have to toss it. It's just not safe. I guess it's like bacteria growth. I don't even know. I really haven't really looked much into it. It's just like a thing. Or I'm the clumsiest human on planet Earth. I cannot tell you how many times I have spilled all of the milk. I don't know. Like, I basically like need an oversupply. And I might talk more about like my whole breastfeeding and pumping journey more in this video actually, but I've been like so wondering, like, when do I stop? It's so hard to know, but I honestly feel like my thing is going to be, my first goal was, can I make it to 3 months? Like, that would be amazing if I could just give Decker all of the, the goodness for 3 months. And now we hit that and I'm like, okay, can I make it to 6 months? And 6 months will be like a true, like, if I could do 6 months of this, I would be really happy with that. And we'll see from there, but like 6 months would be great. And then I feel like after 6 months, that's when it's not like we'll see. My plan isn't to stop, but it's to stop killing myself over this. I saw someone write, like, for their pumping and breastfeeding journey, their goal going into this second time, because they kind of went crazy the first time, is to make it as, as low effort as possible, where they're going into it not waking up in the middle of the night, not like as low effort as possible. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I thought that was like, okay, like, and that's for, of course, your mental health. And if that person knew like it wasn't the best the last time, I'm just putting his little, I'm always doing dishes for her, whatever it is. Is it dishes, bottles, whatever. Do these actually work, by the way? This is like for like the Dr. Brown's bottles, which you put it in and they say it helps with like the air. Is this a gimmick? I am so like, I'm the type of person who really falls for that. But yeah, I thought that was like an interesting approach. And I feel like after 6 months, maybe that's what I'll do. Like, I'll just, because like you guys don't, like, I am such a type A person that like, I follow things so to the T. Like, I am not the type of person who misses a pump session. I don't go longer than 3 hours without pumping. Like, I am so by the book. One sec, Ash. Okay, I gotta let Ash out. the man needs to go. And so I'll talk more about everything maybe tomorrow, or tomorrow, I guess it's definitely today. But those are my thoughts. Those are my 3:15 a.m. thoughts. All right, we've got the triple crown of happiness. Decker, these 3 things make your mom a very happy woman. We've got the water to stay hydrated. We've got the coffee to stay awake. And, of course, the star of the show, the chocolate oatmeal to stay happy.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our faces are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight.
All right, I figured we could use playtime with Deck to chat a little bit about my breastfeeding journey, because I've gotten a lot of comments about this, just questions from other people like, how much are you breastfeeding? How much are you pumping? I do want to make a huge disclaimer. I am going to probably talk about like my decisions to breastfeed. There is no shame in the world if you choose to formula feed. I'm a formula baby, okay? God bless you. I'm a formula baby. Like my mom gave me formula. I'm a perfectly fine human to this day. One thing that caught me off guard also was just how determined I was to breastfeed and pump. Like, I will get into that in a second. I was so nonchalant when I was pregnant. I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to try to breastfeed, but like, we'll see what happens. I just was so, I don't know, like one way or the other, formula is so good these days. And what caught me off guard when I was just holding Decker in my arms, I'm like, okay, if the research is showing how great breast milk is, I mean, there's no denying that. I'm doing it. Like, I'm doing anything in my power and everything in my power to do this. And I understand some people can't breastfeed. It is a thing. So please don't take what I'm saying as like an attack or anything like that. Like, truly. What it came down to for me, the biggest thing I found with breast milk is just the antibodies. I wanted to be able to give him all of those antibodies because, I mean, first of all, I'm a hypochondriac. Second of all, like, we're going into cold and flu season. Like, I just really wanted to be able to do it. And I almost feel like when something is, like, taken away from you, it just makes you want it that much more. And I felt like I was on the cusp of it being taken away from me because we were not successful at all. Spoiler alert. He was losing weight. I didn't realize he had a bad latch. Biggest piece of advice, book the lactation consultant. I remember thinking, I'm like, well, what is she going to tell me to do differently? I'm clearly doing it right. No, I wasn't. The latch was so wrong. I was in so much pain every single time. He would latch on and I would just close my eyes so tight and just like pray for the 20 minutes to end. And I was like, this is just a sacrifice that I have to make. Wrong. It's not supposed to hurt. So she showed me the right way to do things. I remember when she came over, she looked at the latch and was like, are you in pain? And I was just like, no. Meanwhile, like, yeah, I was in pain, but like, I almost just blocked it out at that point. I was just like, no, I'm in no pain at all. And she's like, I think you are. I'm like, yeah, when I actually think about it, like, this is pretty freaking painful. So anyway, she helped us so much with that. And we got off to a great breastfeeding like journey from there where he was gaining weight. It was great. But what wasn't great is how time consuming it was. That caught me off guard. And the thing is, like, I've kind of not beat myself up, but I'm like, gosh, I can't believe I didn't do like enough breastfeeding research. Like, this all caught me off guard. I truly think it's one of those things you just have to see it for yourself. Like, I did research. Like, in hindsight, I read the book What to Expect When You're Expecting cover to cover. I read a couple of other books. If you need any recs, I feel like I have them because I've read so much. But it's almost like most things in life, like, you have to do it yourself. Like, even like medical school, doctors obviously spend a lot of time studying in the textbooks and they're in the library, but until they're actually practicing, like, you don't truly get the full picture. And look at me, I'm comparing my breastfeeding journey to medical school. That's not what's happening here. Okay, I guess it is, but you know what I mean. It's fine. Okay. So yeah, I just think it's one of those things you have to like experience. Every baby is different, obviously. And it just, wow, caught me off guard because the other part of this puzzle is just how time consuming it is. So time consuming. And we went through I feel like an extreme case of cluster feeding where, like, I've heard about cluster feeding. I wasn't expecting to be sitting on my couch from 3 p.m. until bedtime at 11 p.m. That is not an exaggeration. It like really like mentally wore on me to a point that like I just felt like I was going crazy. That caught me off guard, and that's where pumping came into the picture, where I was like, okay, I'm spending 7 hours a day feeding him. If I could even just pass him off to Zach for 1 to 2 feedings, That would free me up so much. So I started pumping, and even when my mom would come over, she would give him a bottle. And it also allowed me to be social, because when my dad visited, and when people like were first coming over in his first couple of weeks, I was like, I feel like I barely saw anyone. Like, my dad visited for 4 or 5 days. I felt like I barely talked to him because we were just upstairs decorating. Oh, what was that? You're like, I wasn't taking you away from him. Yeah, just because we were upstairs breastfeeding the whole time. So pumping truly allowed me so much freedom. And pumping is certainly not a piece of cake either. I mean, that is something you really have to keep up with. I pump every 2 to 3 hours, just depending. And at first it started off, I would do 1 pumped bottle a day, which, by the way, for the first, I'd say month and a half, I was exclusively breastfeeding because I didn't want us to deal with like nipple confusion. They say sometimes if you introduce the bottle too early, then the baby will refuse breastfeeding, and I didn't want that. So I exclusively breastfed for over a month, and then eventually introduced the bottle, like 1 bottle a day. And then it got down to where we are now, where I bottle feed 80% and then I nurse the other 20%. And it's just kind of random. Overnight, all throughout the night, I will exclusively nurse. Starting in the morning, then Zach will give him his first bottle usually. And they say this is like so time consuming. A lot of people are like, what the heck? You're just giving yourself more work. Then you have to wash bottles and all of that, because I pump and then I feed him. I prefer it. I prefer being able to say, here's 5 ounces, or here's 6 ounces. With breastfeeding, there's so much guesswork. And I'm not going to lie, I feel so guilty over it, because it just feels, I don't know, like, I feel like it's so glorified to be breastfeeding, but it just like helps my mental health so much to be able to give him bottles. And not to mention, like, when we have company over, I don't have to like escape away like with him, because by the way, I don't like to breastfeed in front of people, like obviously Zach, but like I don't like to, like, it's just not my thing. But yeah, there is guilt, because breastfeeding is awesome. I mean, one of the cool things is that your baby, when they start feeding, they get different milk than in the end. In the end, they get the hind milk, which has all of like the fat and the nutrients, but in the beginning, is it called like the foremilk? That's what quenches their thirst at first. Like, it's so cool to be able to breastfeed, but it's just, I've tried to go back, like, because some days I feel guilty and I'm like, all right, no pumping today, just breastfeeding, and those days are just not as enjoyable for me. Like, it's just a constant, I feel like we're just constantly nursing because I just don't know how much he got. And yeah, so that's where we're at, where I'm 80% pumping, 20% nursing. And I just feel like everyone's journey is going to look a little bit different, and there should be no guilt for whatever journey you have, whatever yours looks like. I just feel like, with this whole motherhood thing, the guilt just happens so easily, just because you love this little thing so much and you're constantly wondering, like, am I truly doing everything I can? So yeah, as I mentioned, I think at like 3 o'clock this morning, I was so tired. My original goal was 3 months. If I could make it to 3 months, we hit that. Now 6 months is my true, like, I really, really, really will do everything in my power to hit 6 months. And then we'll see from there. And I've thought to myself, like, it's a beautiful thing that, like, I truly am a homebody right now, just because, like, of the whole pumping situation. You don't want to go more than 3 hours. And it, like, truly does, like, tie you down a lot. But I thought, like, how wonderful that, like, I'm tied down with him, right? Like, that's beautiful. But even with him, like, it's just a lot, even getting out of the house, and it's just a lot. So we'll see. That's where we're at. Please don't judge me. I feel like this topic is very, very, very touchy for a lot of people. And part of me, honestly, does dream of the day where I'm not pumping around the clock, but I'm also just embracing this time. And even though I don't necessarily love it, right? Like, I'm not dying to pump. Like, it's a constant thing throughout the day. Like, right now, I just looked at my laptop. I'm like, what time is it? Okay, I have like 40 minutes before I need to hit the pump. Like, it's just a lot. But knowing, like, I'm feeding him, all of his nutrients come from me, like that makes it all worth it for me. And to see him growing makes me so happy. And yeah, so we'll see. I take it day by day, and I'll always be open and honest on here about where my journey leads me. If I stop before 6 months, which it's truly like just our decision. I mean, and obviously like Zach's in on it too, but Zach is totally like, do what you need to do. Like, he's certainly not pushing me in any direction. So yeah, that's our journey. Do you like our journey? Has it been fun? It's Saturday night, and normally that is totally irrelevant to me for 2 reasons. 1, Zach works weekends, and 2, we have a baby, so we don't do anything. However, Zach's uncles offered to come over tonight. Like, they're literally downstairs right now. Zach and I are going out tonight. We're just going out to dinner. not going to be out long or anything, but I was just telling them, like, going out to dinner these days is so exciting. Like, this is riveting. And it's funny because I feel like I'm looking at a whole new wardrobe. Like, I have not worn regular clothes or like any of these clothes in so long, because obviously I was pregnant. I was wearing not maternity stuff, but I was just kind of living in my what are these, like t-shirt dresses? Oh my gosh, wow, this dress just moved and that scared me. But anyway, so like I literally feel like I'm like shopping my wardrobe. Like, this is so exciting. And by the way, don't get your hopes up. It's literally 15 degrees outside, so I'm just picking like some sort of sweater and leggings situation. But even then, like, this is very exciting. Oh my gosh, wow, I'm like literally forgetting like pieces that I used to wear. All right, this is the fit. Clearly nothing crazy because, can you even see me? I feel like this lighting is weird. We've got some boots, some leggings, a sweater, and my hair is just, I need to learn to like my hair straight because it's the easiest option for me, and yet I feel like whatever you have, you want the opposite. All I ever want is curly hair, but this is just as easy as can be. Zach, you gotta do an outfit of the night. Looking that good. You gotta see the fit. Do a little spin. Last night was so nice. It's funny because I had just like these two dueling thoughts. One, I said to Zach last night, like, we're never going to be able to go on a vacation, just us two, until Decker's like 18, because I will miss him too much. I used to think people were like just making it up when they were like, I miss my baby, when like they're out for like 2 or 3 hours. No, like it is, yeah. All I could think about was like, I need to get home and hug him and kiss him and just like be with him. But yeah, so that was the one thought. But the other thought was, it was so nice and great to just be out with Zach again. Like, it's definitely necessary. Date night, I've realized as a mom, is necessary. Of course, we are so grateful for Zach's uncles for watching Decker. Like, that just was very nice. And obviously, like, eventually we will bring Decker places. It's just, I just don't feel like Decker as a 3-month-old belongs at dinner at like 7 p.m. because that's what time we went out. He's like, I do. He just gets tired around that time. That's like his witching hour. It's just for us personally, but I'm about to bag some milk. Basically, I go through like, these are just like the extras from the past 3 days. Milk, by the way, breast milk can stay in your refrigerator for up to 4 days before you either need to give it to the baby or freeze it. I kind of just, actually, I'm gonna keep this one. Every couple of days we'll go through and bag it. I just use these, and these are covered by insurance. There's so much covered by insurance, guys, by the way. These like little breast milk storage bags, and I've just been freezing 6 ounces at a time. Boom. One great thing about pumping, it is probably the most satisfying thing in the entire world. Like, nothing is more satisfying than pouring it into bottles, pouring it into bags. It's just so satisfying to see all of it. Okay, I don't even need this. But I will say, like, you have to stay very organized and on top of everything because there's just so many rules with like milk being able to sit out for X amount of hours, being able to be in the fridge for X amount of hours, in the freezer for 6 months, deep freezer for longer than that. So it's definitely something where you got to stay on top of it. And it's so funny because, oh my God, if you guys watched, I think it was like my 24-hour video, like 24 hours in my life with a 3-month-old. I talked about how I had these grand plans of having like 1 full month of breast milk in storage so that I could stop breastfeeding like in a month before I even want. And I will tell you right now, like, that's just not happening. Like, that would require so much more milk than I am producing like in extra, because even though I'm like, wow, I'm freezing all of this milk, like what you're about to watch me freeze is literally going to be like a quarter of his daily intake, like really not that much at all in the grand scheme of things. So it's nice to have this stuff in the freezer though, because I don't know, I just like having it. Like, it just makes me feel like safe almost. And that's the thing with breastfeeding and pumping. I feel like pumping more specifically, it is the most time consuming thing just on planet Earth. Like, you're just constantly, it's like you're like solving a puzzle each day of like, okay, like if I pump now, then I can go to the gym. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, I would love to go to the gym right now, but I have to pump in 40 minutes. Like, it's just not gonna work out with the schedule. And by the way, thank you so much to everyone who, and this, my friends, this is why I have an oversupply, because I can't tell you how many times I spill this freaking milk. It is, I literally feel like our house is covered in like a 1/4 inch of milk. Like, obviously we clean up, don't worry, but like, it's just everywhere. That right there,
We got 3. But I think Mr. and I are gonna have some tummy time right now. He's been so good on his belly. I'm telling you guys, if you're a new mom and your baby hates tummy time, don't worry. Like, I was like, how are we ever gonna do it? I just slowly like kept trying. We would literally just do 10 seconds at a time. And now, don't get me wrong, like, it's not like he's spending that much time on his belly, but it's enough where like he's lifted up for like, I don't know, sometimes he's lifted up for a couple minutes. It's awesome. It's so awesome seeing how strong you're getting. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll once again have that link for Hellloooo below if you guys are interested. And I have a mess to clean up, story of my life.